where modern and classic tales discuss where Sonic puts all of his rings. A question nobody knows the answer.
Hold on. That's a generational question. Where does Sonic put his rings? Oh, nah. Sonic. Today, we need to learn about the lore of the Sonic rings. Now, if you all know, I played Sonic Adventure 1 Episode 1. If you haven't watched that, my first time playing a real Sonic game. If you haven't watched that, go check that out right now. And apparently, if you have one ring, it means you get to survive another hit. So having a ring means you can't die. But I'm not sure, so that's why we gotta check out this video. The name of the video is The Fascinating Lore of Rings in the Sonic series. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Chompix. Have you guys heard of these things called video games? Yeah, they're really cool. And after playing myself, I realized that a lot of them share many of the same core design principles. For example, most of them have some sort of health system that tells you when your character is alive and when it's not. Likewise, many games also have some sort of recurring
the rings are the health,
usually used to increase your score. But then comes barging in Sonic the Hedgehog to change the game, literally. For the first
Sonic Adventure, for the time it came out, the mechanics were ahead of its time for when I was playing it. I'm gonna keep playing it, so look out for an episode 2 probably coming out this weekend. But man, that game was actually ahead of its time, and I was having a great time playing that game.
A game ingeniously
and it has a story too,
system with its collectible system,
which makes it even more cool.
Of rings. No longer were these two mechanics separate entities. They became codependent, adding layers of complexity and strategy to the gameplay. It was extremely innovative for its time. Sonic's rings aren't just objects you collect to satisfy that innate goblin instinct to hoard shiny things. They serve as your lifeline, your buffer against the many dangers that Sonic faces. Scattered liberally throughout each zone, these rings added a sense of satisfaction, but also leniency to the gameplay.
The sound of the rings too, like when you get the ring, is actually satisfying. I'm not gonna lie.
Unlike most games where taking damage is a punishing setback that reduces your health, Sonic's rings offer players a unique, forgiving approach. You could take a hit and not immediately lose a life as long as you had some rings on you. And because the rings you've collected would scatter upon being hit, you could get a chance to pick them back up again, giving you another fighting chance. As long as the player could manage to hold on to at least one single ring, they'd be able to withstand any hit.
Which is kind of
getting crushed. Don't get crushed. Rings are an important part to Sonic's gameplay and can be found pretty much anywhere in abundance. So much so that I think we forget to stop and think, what the heck even are these things? I mean, they magically float and rotate in the air, appear out of nowhere, and provide our heroes with quite a bit of power. When you think about it, rings are actually quite mysterious. So join me today as we attempt—
Where do the rings come from? What's the lore on that?
To uncover the fascinating lore of rings.
Wait, I know they use the open portals though. I've seen that. W intro, man.
This video is made possible
by
today's
make an intro for
sponsor,
myself.
Manta Sleep.
Who can make an intro for me?
To help you seize back your slumber, empowering your sleeping as skyles like me who cups.
W Manta Sleep, man.
Explain to offer man.
Damn.
Manta Sleep. Listen, little Timmy, I think it's time we had the talk. Where do rings come from? Well,
that's exactly what I said.
Well, that's actually a good question. Where the heck do rings come from? They're all just kind of already there.
I can't wait to get my 100,000 subscribers.
And mysteriously appear in all sorts of locations. The natural paradise of Green Hill, the beach of Emerald Coast.
Bro, this is where I was playing. Man, it was fun.
Highway, the abandoned space colony Ark, the destroyed future of Crisis City.
Oh, what game is this one?
The City of Speed Highway.
Yo, the maps be looking nice.
The abandoned space colony Ark, the destroyed—
The maps look nice.
Future of Crisis City, and even alien planets such as Planet Wisp. The thing is, not even the head of Sonic Team, Takashi Iizuka, knows the answer to this question as admitted in interviews. Likewise, there's a funny scene from Sonic Generations where modern and classic tales discuss where Sonic puts all of his rings. A question nobody knows the answer.
Hold on. That's a generational question. Where does Sonic put his rings? Oh, nah. Sonic. What was Sonic's middle name again? Was it like Kevin or something?
Straightforward explanation.
Or George. I forgot what Sonic's middle name was.
They almost did. The Sonic Bible, an internal document created by Sega America that tried to establish a lot of the early Sonic lore while taking a lot of liberties deviating from the original Japanese script, attempted their own explanation for the rings. Before Robotnik was an evil mastermind—
Wait, is Sonic's middle name Gerald or Jerome? I can't remember.
To take over the world, he was a kind-hearted scientist called Dr. Ovi Keentober. His goal was to create a machine which would use the Chaos Emeralds to absorb all of the evil in the world. He would then banish the emeralds into the icy core of the planet, rendering them completely harmless and the world evil-free. But something would cause his machine to go haywire, transferring all of that evil energy into the Doctor himself, turning him into Dr. Robotnik. This contraption consisted of thousands of golden rings.
This is an alternate
timeline. The Doctor
timeline.
referred to as good karma throughout the machine. When the machine exploded, the rings would scatter across all of the different zones, and this is why we can find them out and about in the first game. But you see, the Sonic Bible was created by Sega of America before any kind of lore consistency was established, at least between the West and Japan.
Because that's kind of weird. Now that I know the lore of Gerald, Robotnik, and Maria and Shadow, I'm not falling for that.
Since then, Sega has obviously gotten a lot better about that kind of stuff, and this bit of lore was retconned a long time ago. And that kind of leaves us where we started.
I played this.
So rings seem to be an absolute enigma in the Sonic universe. But that's not going to stop us from trying to figure them out. I mean, if the Chaos Emeralds managed to get some crazy backstory in Sonic Frontiers, I think the rings deserve something too. After all, they're practically the first thing you see when loading into the very first level of Sonic 1. I'd argue they're almost just as important. Because despite their mystery, characters...
You know what I just realized? Sonic looks pretty similar to Mario. Like those early Mario games, those Super Mario games, they look very, very similar. So now I see where the beef comes from.
They're almost just as important. Because despite their mystery, characters use their powers all the time like it's nothing.
Yo, Sonic, where do you keep all those rings?
Never questioning their existence.
Yo, Sonic is a trillionaire.
The most common use is acting as a buffer for almost any kind of damage, and this is used by pretty much every single Sonic protagonist. About to fall straight into a pit of spikes? Get punched in the face by a giant robot? No problem. As long as you have at least a single ring, you can take the hit over and over again. Also, a lot of people associate Sonic's super form with the power of the Chaos Emeralds, and rightfully so. However, the role that rings play in this insanely powerful transformation is often overlooked. If you really think about it, the Chaos Emeralds are completely useless in transforming Sonic into a super form unless you have 50 rings, minimum. So sure, the Chaos Emeralds are the catalyst, but the rings are essentially the fuel that
they got Super Sonic even in the games. I thought that was like only in the shows and stuff.
As we can see, Sonic's ring count constantly drains when he's in his super state.
But they have it in the 2D games though.
As ring energy is used to sustain the transformation. Speaking of ring energy, it's also what allows Sonic to boost at supersonic speeds. In almost all of the boost games, collecting rings fills Sonic's boost gauge. Hell, in Sonic Unleashed, Sonic's boost gauge...
I'm not gonna lie, the mechanics of Sonic is definitely one of one. Definitely. You can't find a game like Sonic with the same type of mechanics, even though it did look like Mario a little bit, but the mechanics of the 3D games at least are one of one.
Slower, less powerful, would be defeated way easier, and straight up wouldn't be able to perform some of his most incredible feats. But besides providing power, rings also serve as a form of currency in Sonic's world. Look at how Sonic uses them to buy things like the various power-ups
Sonic is a
Sonic
trillionaire
06,
then.
the food items in Sonic Unleashed, and the abilities in Sonic Generations. There's even a level in Shadow the Hedgehog's Circus Park filled with rings stolen by Dr. Eggman. This could explain how Eggman constantly has funds to build his colossal bases and armada of giant, very expensive-looking robots. So sure, you could just say rings are a simple video game system that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things and call it a day. But you can't deny how reliant even our main character is on them. I really don't think rings are something characters aren't conscious of. Because if these were only important in a video gamey context, how do you explain all the times they appear in the non-video game mediums like the TV shows, comics, and movies? Especially considering that it's sometimes here where we even get a bit of lore. Sure, it isn't necessarily canon, but maybe it can help point us in the right direction. So let's take a look at how these instances tried or didn't try to explain the rings. Rings appear very briefly in the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, making this their first TV appearance. Funny enough, they're blue here for whatever reason and used to take shortcuts in the special zone. Nothing too crazy, but then again, this show isn't particularly known for its deep diving into the Sonic lore. It's actually in the Sonic Sat AM series that the origin of the rings takes an interesting twist. Created by...
The animation doesn't look bad. It looks nice. Like, this looks like something I'll just put in the back just to chill, you know, when I just want to unwind. I'd put something like this.
Power rings surface
I'll probably make my kids watch this too in the future.
A machine invented by Uncle Chuck and placed at the bottom of the lake generates one of these rings every 24 hours, a rate later doubled to every 12 hours. These power rings
every rings by Sonic's Uncle Chuck, power Yo, Sonic got an uncle.
AM series at the origin of the rings takes an interesting twist. Created by Sonic's Uncle Chuck, power rings surface from a special body of water known as the Lake of Rings. A machine invented by Uncle Chuck and placed at the bottom of the lake generates one of these rings every 24 hours, a rate later doubled to every 12 hours. These power rings possess an intense amount of energy, and Sonic, being the only one that can utilize their power, often relies on them to temporarily enhance his speed and strength and face off against Dr. Robotnik. Not only do these rings supercharge Sonic, but they also possess the capacity to partially reverse the effects of roboticization, restoring free will to the victim. The Archie comics had their own explanation of the rings too. Artificially manufactured by scientist
Yo, who's this guy?
Nate Morgan, the ring
Nate Morgan, that boy look tough.
would be mass-produced to power the Kingdom of Acorn. This would push it into a new and prosperous age. Sonic X also has a unique use and origin of the rings. Sonic is able to use the rings once again to temporarily enhance his speed and strength. Mainly, Sonic uses the rings to enter a state called
like
Super Spin Mode.
Super Spin. So is the ring kind of like what's the thing that Goku did, bro? Kaioken? Are the rings kind of like that? And then the ring plus the Chaos Emeralds is super.
Spinning projectile that can pierce
I'm
the
spitting.
Manufactured steel.
Hear me out.
Again, only Sonic is able to utilize their powers, at least in this way. There are a few instances where rings are used as power sources for various machinery. But most
the rings actually have so much use. You could use it, you could buy stuff with it. You could use it to get supercharged. You could use it for power. Yo, Sonic is rich. Imagine Sonic sold his rings to like governments to power their countries. He would actually be like a
Interestingly, Sonic X gives us a hint at their potential origins.
Now, if rings were real, just know America's just they're going crazy for the rings.
To possess hints of chaos energy, because according to Tails, they're produced by the Chaos Emeralds themselves. The Sonic movies would also feature rings, with another interesting twist. In this universe, rings are used to warp to different areas, as seen in Sonic's origin story when fleeing to Earth from the Echidna tribe on his original planet. Knuckles is also shown to have and use these rings in the second movie, when agreeing to free Eggman from his entrapment on the Mushroom Planet. Rings even appear in Sonic Prime as well. During the first episode, Sonic is shown gathering rings before confronting Eggman in order to protect himself.
Oh, what show is this?
This is probably the most
one-to-one
representation of the rings when compared to the games. Among the various attempts to give rings a backstory,
and also rings give you technically immortality as long as you have one. You can't die.
Outside of the video games, the ones that
Apart from
resonated with me the least were the ones where the rings were artificially manufactured, like in Archie or Sonic Sat AM. These man-made origins just kind of take away from the magical essence that the rings have in the video game universe. However, the explanation in Sonic X really stood out to me, and that's not just because Sonic Team had direct involvement with the show's production. It feels like the logical explanation given what we know about the games. The concept of rings being byproducts of the Chaos Emeralds actually makes way too much sense for it to not be the canon explanation. When you think about it, the rings have always
everything comes from the Chaos Emeralds. Everything in the Sonic universe comes from the Chaos Emeralds.
Functioned as a guide, leading us towards the...
But then, are there, like, how everyone... Like, there's been a lot of people who got their hands on Chaos Emeralds. Like, I know in, like, Adventure, the one I'm playing right now, Tails had a Chaos Emerald. Then Eggman took it. That's the part I'm on right now. Go check it out if you haven't watched it.
Chaos Emeralds within many of the games. For instance, take the
how many people could get Chaos Emeralds, and how do they even be finding it?
It acts as a teleporter to the special stage where a Chaos Emerald can be grabbed. In Sonic 2, when you pass through a checkpoint with 50 rings, a portal opens up that can take the player to a special stage where, again, you can obtain a Chaos Emerald. And let's not forget the hidden giant special rings in Sonic 3, which offer yet another way to snag yourself an emerald. The reoccurring theme is clear. All evidence points to the rings having a direct connection to the Chaos Emeralds. And them being connected to the emeralds actually explains so much about their powers. It's why we're able to protect our main characters from harm, and required to obtain and maintain Sonic Super State. It would also explain why characters in Sonic Adventure 2's multiplayer can perform certain abilities only after
Adventure 2 has multiplayer?
Hell,
yo, who trying to play Sonic Adventure 2 with me?
Control with the power of the rings. And that's because they have remnants of chaos energy, making them comparable to the power of the Chaos Emeralds when collected in bulk. But here's the catch. Unlike Chaos Emeralds, which are like the Energizer Bunny of never-ending power, rings are more like a one-and-done deal. They're your quick hit of energy, but once you use them, poof, their power is spent.
It's like Kaioken.
They can give you what you need in a pinch,
times
but
10.
aren't the infinite powerhouses that Chaos Emeralds are.
What game is this
that's
one?
my take. Rings
Yo, Sonic has so many games. I gotta play all of them.
Kind of pushed under the rug. There's so many of them, but yet no explanation on what they really are. And you encounter them so often, you kind of forget how important of a role they play. The rings, in my eyes, are almost as important as the Chaos Emeralds. I mean, think of how many pinches they've gotten our heroes out of. But despite this, you never really see anyone talk about these things outside of being a simple video game collectible. Well, I say it's time that changed. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today's video.
Vid, man. Yo, please, I need to get my hands on some Sonic rings, man. I'm trying to be immortal, rich, and always have energy. That's the goal. Nah, the lore, man. I'm having a great time just learning about the Sonic lore. It's just amazing, man. And shout out to everyone that watches the videos and comments and recommends me stuff to do. I promise that I'm going to check out all of them. You know, I have things that are going on in my life, but I'm dedicated. This weekend, we're getting a lot of videos done. And yeah, I'm also going to play the games. So just subscribe, man. Subscribe if you're trying to see me get on that journey of becoming a Sonic meathead. You know what I'm saying? A Sonic goon. Pause. Anyways, if you like the comment, if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace.